of the Accommodation Tax Advisory Committee meeting for Tuesday, February 18th, 6:05. I'm Chris Kapinski, Chair.
I'm Mike Garibaldi.
Scott Thresher.
Sam Britt.
And we have 4. May I have a motion to accept the minutes?
So motioned.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Perfect. Public comment? Okay. Natalie, welcome.
Thank you. Is it up here? Just the agenda, that's up. Okay. Okay. This is the quarterly financial. We did see an increase when comparing the quarter for fiscal year '24 to this same quarter in fiscal year '25 of over $42,000 or over 18%. Currently, there is $706,350 available for distribution. We did include some lapsed grants in this quarter. And we did receive 3 applications, but 2 have been rescinded, and we only have 1 applicant for your review and consideration, and it is for the 2025 Mayfest weekend from the Rotary Club of Bluffton for $24,000.
Thank you.
Didn't I see? They haven't completed their final allocate or presented everything for last year? Yeah, they're waiting
Mayfest,
for,
yes.
I'm sorry.
For Mayfest, yes. I think I updated the staff report.
It came in after our agenda?
I don't think so, maybe right before.
I'm sorry. On my thing, it says we approved 25, they expended approximately 15, and the final report wasn't
I had
complete.
the report, but not all the backup, so I had, well, most of it, but there were a couple other invoices that I have since received. So,
I just had seen that. All right, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Any old business we need to discuss? No? Okay, Mary, welcome.
Thank you. So I think you all know me, but I'm Mary O'Neill, past president of the Rotary Club of Bluffton. And we are requesting for our Mayfest weekend, $24,000. And to answer, just so Shannon really helped me then, because I was on the road and I couldn't get those final, and have those final invoices. So she actually got them. Because you were questioning whether we turned in the final report.
Okay, so then I'll ask you, how close to the award did you come?
I think we're over. I mean, I think we spent more, but
Okay, because the staff report we have has it roughly $10,000 less than the total allocated to you. That's why I was asking.
I don't think so.
And it does say there was some stuff coming in. That's why I was seeing if you, and now that you say you've got it in, she's thinking. Excel's working on it. Excel's working on it. It's not all that important. I was just, I know that.
We did
in the
get
past,
everything
sometimes
in.
You're very frugal and sometimes we go over, so I was just why I was asking.
No, I don't think,
the amount that was eligible for reimbursement totaled about $16,600 once we calculated the tourism percentage for some of the expenses, like
So
the restaurant.
They were allocated up
shuttles,
to 25,000 and they spent 16.8.
Well, I really spent it, it's just what Shannon's explaining,
Right.
because of the percentage.
So it'll come up in, well, might as well go ahead and bring it up. So you do know that some of those expenses are only allocated against your tourism?
Oh, yeah, I know.
So, and I'm so used to it, but we do have people that have it set up here that may have questions about Mayfest.
I look forward to it.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
So we need-
So does my wife, so.
Guys, we need tourists. I mean, it's not real exciting to be down there right now, guys.
Where are you putting your advertisement? Same places as normal?
Right, but we do, I'm hoping, we do that vacation planner, which is sent out to their 140,000 people. And that also is the e-blast, and every single place that we advertise definitely has the digital. We do target marketing. I mean, I think I do everything that you're supposed to be doing, but I mean, even Seafood Festival this year, I thought was lighter than usual. But then that was because, most of North Carolina blew away, so, I mean,
We can't, so in just out of just abundance of over, you're using outside of 10 and 09, right? Or is that your tourism number, 09 and 10?
no, I even do I do outside 26, I do from Beaufort out. Is that what you're saying, my zip code?
Who are you counting as a resident? Not a tourist?
Just anyone
10
in,
and 09 is not a tourist? Or are you using 28, 26?
I do all of Hilton Head, not a tourist, I do all of up to, including Beaufort, not a tourist.
I probably used, forgive me, what do we determine was a tourist? Did 09 and 01 and 10, or did we go 50 miles?
No, the two Bluffton zip codes, anybody outside of those two zip codes.
That's what I was curious about.
Oh,
So I want to clarify that for you.
okay, well then we had higher percentage of tourists, but.
Okay. And you based your projections for this one at 25%, only using 09 and 10 as a resident? Okay.
Should you change that?
All right, I'll be glad to.
Because we always have the conversation, because you and I have talked about it for.
I know, I'm very frugal and everything, but yes.
Can they retro their last year's report?
If they had a way to capture it, I'm sure we can, but I don't know if they got a way to capture it. You got a way to capture it differently?
I can go back and go through every one of those sheets again.
Simply? Probably not.
Not very.
And this year, you're capturing the way you did the previous on the
It's still the cleanest way on the shuttles.
That's what I thought, okay. So they put the people on the shuttle, and then they ask them when they come on and off where they came in from.
Right, zip code, and we record every zip code. So obviously, we have lots of 29910 and 29909, but, yeah, I mean, we have a lot more tourists then. But how can we count a Hilton Head person as a tourist?
We clarified that, I think you were in one of those workshops, we clarified that we were only gonna use the 09 and 10 as not a
That's
tourist.
fine, it's just, doesn't seem much like a tourist to me.
I don't disagree with you, but that was what because it was so hard to quantify and qualify, because, for a while we had 50 miles, it was hard to tell if they were
Oh, yeah.
in Georgia 50 miles out or whether they were not in Georgia 50 miles out, so that's why we were trying so hard to quantify what that was.
Well, I'll be glad to count Hilton Head and
That's why I
everything.
was clarifying with staff, that's what the decision was made.
And that's gonna stay like that, because I'm getting ready to write a few other grants.
Yeah,
Okay.
09 and 10.
Okay.
I don't have anything else.
You don't have any questions?
No, we had the same question, whether the report wasn't completed, but I guess it was, so it's good.
All right, so I'll make a motion to try to make this easier. I would make a motion to grant $18,880 based upon the current information in the application, but with the ability to go up to the full ask of $24,000 based upon tourism numbers.
Can I get a second?
I second that.
Any discussion?
I just think it's gonna be important, hard for her to quantify based upon this, and we're trying to go off these applications, right? So we have to go with what's in front of us.
Yep.
And we've done it in the past where we can award up to it, and she qualifies for what she qualifies based upon even on her current application. So that's why I did it that way.
Okay, so last time we did that, town council was like, why? I understand why. I'm just gonna tell you that they're gonna question it. That's what they do. So I got it.
So.
Because I only requested 15 originally last time.
So what I would also tell you, I mean, staff, would it be easier to award up to 24,000 based upon tourism numbers?
Yeah, because we would only take that anyways, like, we wouldn't go over it, we would take what expenditures come in, because it's all reimbursement based. So things that are eligible at the tourism rate, we would use that calculation, so it would be up to whatever that total amount is.
So would you like a cleaner motion? Okay.
Thank you. Can I get a new motion?
Sure.
Do they have to vote on that and let it fail?
Yeah, we do.
Oh,
So,
okay. All those in favor say aye. All opposed? Aye.
So I would motion to award the fully requested amount of $24,000 up to, based on the tourism numbers.
Okay, now I a second.
I so second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Yay. Okay.
But are we clear, can she go back to last year's, what report that was just, I mean, that might be another couple $1,000. I mean, they didn't take in all that they, I'm not trying to make work for
I
people,
don't know
but.
that it would be that significant, but I
Oh,
have
okay,
no
maybe
idea
not.
what her tourism numbers are.
Yeah.
There's no way to guesstimate that,
Okay.
without her doing the work.
Is the final
I think we just
report
got the
in
check.
and it's already been done? That's up to you.
Can I think about it? I mean, I can do it, it just wouldn't, just give me a deadline.
Tomorrow.
We'll give you all way to Thursday. I'm just kidding.
Just kidding.
Truly kidding. Get with Shannon to figure that out if she can figure it out a different way. Since she's the one reconciling.
Everybody needs to put their things up.
Eyes are killing me. Bring it in.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, so the next thing is policy updates regarding eligibility and reimbursement. You got this? Yeah.
Okay.
How would you like to do this?
Just field questions.
Yeah, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the recommendation and the reasoning behind it. Here's V2. So with some requests coming in for facilities. It was requested that maybe ATAC make a recommendation for town council to include in maybe their guidelines in the instructions, similar to how we have the 50-50 budget rule. And, you know, like the pre-application qualification, those types of things, if you wanted to also address personnel and operational expenditures for facilities. So in your document, I referenced two documents. The first one is the South Carolina revenue ruling, and the second one is from Turk that goes into specifically those types of expenditures, and what their guideline and recommendation is.
So specifically, this would be question 19 that you have here. Can accommodation tax funds be used to fund local government salaries?
Right.
So we're going to use this more than local government because some of these are not local government.
Yeah, it was just more support on their viewpoint is probably not best practice.
Okay, so that means that we don't do the Welcome Center anymore because that's done with local ATAX. So nobody who would come up before us would be eligible for salaries if we go forward on this.
For facilities, yes.
Okay.
Welcome centers they have their different category within your, within the eligible, I think there's like 7 or 8 of them. So there's, you know, your advertising and promotion, there's facilities for civic and cultural events, and then they do have one specifically for operations of a welcome center, which is what the Hayward House used to serve as for the town.
Nikki, do you need a copy of that?
Yes, please. I was just using it to read it too.
Oh, you're fine. Okay.
So this kind of falls in what we're all trying to accomplish, and I appreciate the effort you guys have done.
And this can be changed. This is just kind of our staff recommendation for your consideration. The first one is to exclude personnel expenses from any consideration. And then the second one is if you want to consider a cap for operational expenses. So like for utilities or something like that.
I'm sorry, we're going to exclude salaries okay,
For facilities.
for what I'm using.
Mm-hmm. If that's a recommendation that you guys would like to consider for a policy.
I like
Okay.
We need to vote on that? Are we going to vote these separately or all together?
It's up to you. You can vote on that separately if you want. And then if you want to have discussion on the cap, or if you're good with it, you can vote on them together. It's completely up to you.
Let's discuss it first and then we'll see how it goes and
Okay.
we can do it together or something. Because I think we need to add one more thing to this.
Okay.
I like the fact that we're going to exclude salaries because it's too hard to keep up with.
I agree.
Y'all got it?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Where's the cap on operating? I just received one.
Okay, so flip over. So this is what the recommendations from staff is. There's two specific things.
Oh, got it, great, I see
So this is the salaries. So
Got it.
when we had welcome centers, that would be
Okay.
and so there's all those new things that are coming up, and we no longer have a welcome center that we do. That's it. So this is just to make all those
Got it.
things. So then the second thing that she's doing is, again, on the back here, that it's a cap of 25%. So if their operating expenses come to $1 million, I'm making up numbers
Yeah.
obviously, that the cap would be 25% of that. And the operating fund will not include salaries. That would be
Other than Hayward House.
electricity and all of that.
So it will never include capital expenditures.
Oh, there were two. There was one for,
Okay, that's what
That's construction.
Okay.
So, and
That
that's a
doesn't sound like,
different.
that doesn't sound like an expense, that's what
What was the first one?
my CPA hat is
Yes. Yes.
falling off my head as I go.
We're just like
Oh,
previous
there-
year.
okay, two of them, you're just two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just do recommendations.
No, we're talking about who. Two different conversations, sorry.
Okay, conversation about the cap.
So my problem with the cap is there's gonna be different size operations that we're gonna see come through here. While I like having the cap, we need to have a cap. It's hard not to be automatically prejudicial to the larger operations because they're gonna have such a larger budget. My problem becomes 25% of $1 million is much greater than $100,000.
Okay.
So I don't know that we can do it, but I'd also like to see like an applicant maximum cap per year, if
Okay.
there's a way to do that,
Okay.
without getting in trouble. Right, because, you take somebody who, again, has a 50,000 square foot museum, their operating costs are gonna be so much greater than a 2,000 square foot museum, for example. And it's just unfair to the smaller applicant, just because, I love the cap, and I think we need that. I just see it being, I would like to see an applicant cap as an addition to a overall cap.
And that's fine. We also have included, so it's on an annual basis. It can be the 25% or the amount of tourists, whichever is less.
Yeah, but
So if you want to also include a hard fixed dollar amount, that's fine. We would just need to know what you would recommend.
So I would say that a facility like the South Carolina Aquarium in Charleston, they're gonna have huge costs, they're gonna have all this tourism, they're gonna be able to justify the costs that go through there. But it would still be unfair to use them against the big battleship. I don't know what it's called. What's the aircraft carrier?
Oh, in Charleston?
Yeah, Patriots Point. So, and just a very different operation, so.
And this is still all new,
And then
so we don't know what,
what does it look like?
but can we start, my suggestion would be to start it off to be able to be changed, up to $25,000 on just making the number.
Can you add the phrase to be reviewed annually? Put that in the motion?
It would have to apply annually anyway.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they're gonna have to apply we're talking about like our guideline.
Yeah.
And I think the problem there still becomes, I saw this, I didn't give it a half a minute.
Keep in mind, you're gonna vote on this, and then town council's gonna vote on this,
Yeah.
and they probably don't wanna vote on it every year.
Hmm.
They're not gonna wanna relitigate this every year, would be my
No,
guess.
I would agree, we need to come up with something that's
Yeah.
I wonder if you've solved the applications or you've seen it, could you put up to a maximum of 10% of your operating budget?
I mean, I think we can say whatever we wanna say.
Yeah, so we can find that number up to their operating, so if they got $1 million, while we say you're capping it at 25, instead of they get 250, they're gonna get capped at 10% of their operating budget, of eligible operational budget, so.
Now, do you need to define operational budget?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that again, but it'd be, I don't know, there's an account. There's two of them sitting down, maybe three.
I'm obviously very new to this, I'm listening to what you're saying. Could we do a large and small
So,
applicant? You can't do that. Okay.
well, and the other thing to maybe consider is, we're talking about utilities. I don't know, what else would be like operational?
Maintenance, utilities,
potentially-
we've done it in the past.
Yard
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
There's a lot of.
Landscaping,
Yeah,
well, not
so,
landscaping, because
I mean-
that's become, well, it's third party.
Yeah.
But I would think of the hard fixed cost, your utilities, but
Insurance.
And you remove personnel, you're taking a pretty
Right.
big chunk out.
if they third party, I'm trying to think, if you were third party like your landscape maintenance, would that be an eligible expense,
It
right?
is currently.
Yeah, so then now, again, that 50,000 square foot facility is gonna have a whole lot more maintenance than out there carrier. So, does council want this?
25% could be decreased, or you
Sorry?
So the 25% could be decreased to 10, like you were saying, or you say 25% or $50,000, whichever is less, based on your
something
budget.
like
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, and then how we would do it at the staff level is when the invoices come in for reimbursement, we would just apply whatever that percentage is, or look at what their tourism numbers are.
Can we ask it, Indy?
Nikki?
Sorry.
Good question for you. Welcome to being on the spot.
Fun.
What's your annual budget, roughly?
160.
No, that's just for Hayward House. HBS is about 600,000.
That's what, so about 600,000. How much of that is hard fixed cost, you know?
I would say,
The taking payroll out, we're talking about your landscaping, your
So
maintenance,
maybe
your,
looking at the facility though would be more 160.
more than half.
is fixed hard operating costs? Without
Hold on.
people, without
I
people.
happen to have the budget right here.
Thank you.
We got something in front of us.
No, I guess not.
It's not being broken down in these little ways, because it's not doing that for
Maybe
us.
about a third.
So 200,000 are hard fixed costs?
That's including like repair and maintenance and upkeep of the house.
Yeah.
So that's not always this, it doesn't always look the same, but it's all the same. It needs to be done, you know, quarterly or whatnot.
Isn't that indicative of like our largest applicant? I haven't seen the whole history of everybody.
It's all changing, man.
Yeah.
Because we used to have the Hayward House as our welcome
Right.
center, now we moved them up. So the way that those folks are gonna apply to us is gonna be through a civic culture or a museum type thing. And so just on the radar, there's going to be some people applying that way.
Got it, okay.
If I may, the other thing to consider is the applicant has to justify that the facility draws tourism. So like they're gonna have to, make that defend to you all as the committee. So while you may have like a threshold or whatever it is, you don't have to go at that threshold. It's what's eligible and you can reduce it to whatever you see
That
fit.
way, I like the wording that we're gonna put something there as a percentage or whatever's less based on tourism. It's like we talked about in our meeting, is if we can tie that to a tourist,
Yes,
that
it
makes it
should
real
be
cool,
tied to
like-
the tourist
like even
number.
a revenue, because there's some people who are just using,
And Turk and the state revenue ruling recommend tying it to.
absolutely.
So this is the staff report. It's pretty much the same.
Right.
So it's got the annual, but it breaks down by these categories. So you've got facilities, but pretty much all of this was a one-time capital cost that they plan to have this year. If you go to the back, this would be all the ineligible things now that they're no longer the Welcome Center.
But even if.
It totals it out, so if you're curious how much the
Thank you.
total budget is.
About a third.
There's a reason why we took our thing off today, sorry.
Other than maybe putting an annual cap on any one applicant,
So do you have what that number would be?
So if we
What?
use this one for instance,
that's not the number you need to use, that really.
just
Yeah, no,
using it for a.
That's what comes. All right, but then, what number did you put in your total budget? Back down to 268 times 25?
That's what I did. 2.5.
But then,
And that excludes advertising now, right?
yeah, that's just operating.
This is just for
Yeah, right.
operational. The other thing too, so like if somebody comes in and has like a project or they want to renovate or construct something, that will be different. This is just for operating
Running the building.
the facility, yes.
75 grand?
As a,
50 or, it's 50 or 75, it sounds like we're almost universal.
what's our current running total now? roughly each quarter,
Oh, it's been,
probably in the sevens, fours.
We're up this month.
What was it, they seven something?
are you talking about awards?
No,
No.
our available funds.
Oh, it's over 700,000.
And it runs between 650 and 750.
It just depends. So the last 2 quarters, we've received from the state over 275,000 each quarter. But then, there's the distributions, there's the DMO, there's the 5% general fund, 15 to
What is
affordable
DMO?
housing.
What is DMO?
Designated marketing organization
Thank you.
chamber.
Yeah.
So next quarter should be higher, you would think, right? Well, there's a couple that haven't, they're gonna roll over, aren't they?
I'm sorry, what's
There's a few that we have some sort of normal quarterly spend, and now there's a couple that just pulled their application. That's
That'll
gonna
come
roll
up for next
To
quarter.
the next quarter, that's what I'm saying, so that could be higher.
Oh, that rollover.
Yeah.
I look at that number as being is that 706 for us to award, correct?
That's what's available, yes.
And what was last quarter, do you have a handy?
Well, this was after the award, so the remaining balance from the previous quarter was 524,000
After the awards.
after the awards.
And last quarter, we awarded almost 100 and something.
80,000-ish,
Only 80?
180,
Oh, okay.
around there.
So that would take us up to set, so it runs right around 700, right?
It just,
I know it varies.
yeah,
And our best quarter is always after
the 4th.
the fourth quarter. Okay.
75 is not the number. That seems high.
Or we just started off at
Let's do that, I think, that's where
let's max it at 50 for
Yeah.
now.
Should say that.
with a maximum request of $50,000 annually.
And there's always the unicorn that might get special circumstances for something else, if need be.
Well, the other thing that
So-
you have would be, I'm sorry, the other thing you'd have is, this is the award for the museum and our operational. If they're having a special event,
Then they always come.
then they'd
and
come in and
ask
ask for this special event anyway, so there's gonna be that I'm assuming we're gonna exclude from the operational request. I'm sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say that if down the road you find that 50,000 is too low, just have consideration of that. So, again, you can have it as a guideline, you don't have to go by it all the time. That's not gonna be, if they come in and request operational funds, would they automatically get it? It would be if you wanna throw the percentage, the tourism for sure, or whatever that cap is.
But it's a guideline, is it a guideline or is it a cap?
Well, if we're talking about, it would be a cap within the guideline. We currently have a 50-50 for the budget, so it's similar to that.
And we'll have to get a feel for what that looks like. If no one ever comes close to it, we don't care. If everybody's exceeding
Right.
it, then we care.
And I'm new guy, the fund is set up that the fund can run out. I mean, obviously, we probably, not, what I'm saying is, if you come late to the party and submit an application in the fourth quarter and there's no money,
Yeah.
that's just the way the.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure I understand.
We have to award money out of the next quarter.
That's right.
Yep, we've had that happen, yeah.
It's a long story.
How about, that's,
Thank you.
Yeah,
all right.
okay, so,
What was the third thing you want to vote on these two first and then bring your third thing up?
Yep, no, yeah. So we have in all our notes and everything that there has to be a pre-meeting, correct?
yes,
Okay. So any event needs to have a pre-meeting.
new, yes.
With who, with us? Or
No, with the staff.
With staff.
So they
And
know how
then
to do
sit
the
down and make sure
application.
that they
Yeah,
are-
rules of
Oh,
thumb.
you.
No, I'm kidding, sorry.
Okay. Okay,
Was there a third thing that you
that,
wanted to do?
that's it.
Okay. So we're gonna need a motion, do you have a vote?
Yeah, I think they have to do them separately because there's a lot of stuff in there.
Actually, no, because it's one agenda item, do them together.
Like, we need to
I agree,
edit
go
this, how you
together.
want to edit it.
So do you wanna do it?
No, you go ahead, do my best.
I would make a motion to follow staff's recommendation regarding, regarding, the museum, arts, civic center, operational funds, except would move to put a 50,000 per year cap on any one application.
Anyone applicant?
Anyone
Annually,
annually.
or do you want to have a percentage cap
So, let me,
and
let
then
me.
the tourism percentage?
So that's why I say, I want to follow your recommendations exactly,
Okay,
with the exception of having a cap added to it of $50,000. So it's 25% annually
yeah,
and based upon your tourism, but you can't exceed 50,000 total.
all right, so I'm gonna update, can you see?
If you type it, I'll read it.
Okay.
Natalie, go ahead.
Did it say something like subject to a 25% cap?
No,
Or-
don't type.
So I've got, okay,
I'm reading it. Instead, go back like you had it originally, which you went no more than 25% annually.
mhm,
Take that 50,000 out right now,
okay,
and then at the end, put capped at a maximum of 50,000. At the very end, after less, whichever's right there. Well, go past that period,
yeah,
maximum annual of $50,000.
Yep, that's fine.
It's cleaner.
okay.
After the word less. Jesuit high schools.
That one?
Perfect.
Okay.
All right, Peanut? All right, I
Okay,
like it.
do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, we did.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, yay.
Okay.
Any other business need to be discussed?
We have update to scoring sheets. It's on the agenda.
I emailed the ones we introduced last quarter, you guys to review, and if you have any suggestions on what you want to do with them, that's the discussion item. We don't have to vote on that.
Okay. I like the original one that I got the first time, the one I used today, that I used last time too. I think that's just it's a little subjective because it's, 25%, but, subject to any sort of excluded expense or not, I think that we'd have to be clear.
Well, the only thing that I think we talked about in those meetings, Shannon, was taking the advertising, where we give so many points for the advertising, how much goes to advertising, and having two separate categories and having to add them together, come up with 15 points. You know where I'm at on the very top? Can we just have all
One of the
those?
versions that I sent you, I had done that way.
That's the one I like.
I'm fine either way.
Then I think the second part of the
I
question
see to
is
the
how do we tie
experience.
those scores into what's awarded funding?
That's a question for council, because you know why I say that? Y'all know what we're talking about at all?
Is there something we have to have on the outside of the curve?
No. So we do a score sheet, right?
Do those go anywhere?
Yes, they go to council.
Okay, they do.
So she takes our score sheet, she multiplies, adds, and divides them, and then council sees what the total score, each person scores in the average. And then there was a period of about 2 meetings that we took, if someone scored 30 out of 40, they were, in theory, gonna get 75% of the awarded amount.
Okay.
And we said that that was hard to do, because ultimately we were talking about having a go, no go. Either you qualify for it or you don't qualify for it. So, we developed this a very long time ago as a way for us to go, oh, we don't have enough money. We need to figure out who's more deserving.
Got it.
and then put that to town council, and that they got to vote based upon the way we set it up, based on those points. It's been a long time since we declined somebody based upon the ability of us to have the funds, but particularly at least 2 council members kind of want to see those scores. Maybe all of them do, but I know at least 2 of them really like to see the scores to kind of see how he got there. Do they get more than the minutes? They get the minutes, and then they get the little report you guys put together for them, kind of like our discussions
The
were?
staff report, the applications, the matrix, right, that you put together based on the scores.
Yep.
They see all of it.
So that's the origination of the score sheet, was kind of us to go back and go, you scored 6, sorry.
Yeah.
Or you scored 40. Yeah, so. Like,
Technically, nobody can score for it.
is council looking for a way to present it to award, top to award? You know?
I believe when it was created, that was the intent, was that the scores, that was what was conveyed. Was that the score was supposed to be tied with percentage of what was awarded.
Or some sort of a guide to support your recommendation.
Right, that's the way we came up with it, when we came up with it. Was because back then, literally when Mary says, they would sit in the back of the room and go, hey, can you reduce me by 2,000 so they could have it?
Yeah, yeah.
And that was way us to be able to go back and change that. I like the scoring system, just shows a lot of it gives us a chance to quantify what our thoughts are personally, but it's hard to tie that unless we slotted it. We talked about slot rating it. You either got all your money or you got a portion of your money based on how far into that you went. So it's going to keep coming up, so if you guys have thoughts on it and develop thoughts on it, please share.
Yeah.
Y'all are so new to it that.
Yeah, no kidding, absolutely. It does seem though, if you get to a certain, any sort of hard and fast percentage almost seems cruel, because although we want this to be objective, there is some subjectivity in how they put, you don't have
There's no
super professional financial staff putting these things together. You know what I mean? I don't mean you guys, I mean, the applicants, that they misclassify, and it's, so it seems like if you got to 70%, you should get the whole thing, in my eye. I mean, I agree, I can see that being a logical.
Right, and that's what we were saying,
Yeah.
if we were gonna try to tie it to an award, we were gonna say if you get to 70, you pass.
Yeah.
If you're 50 to 70, you get some percentage.
That makes absolute sense to me.
And if council had some recommendations for y'all to give to us, we would be,
I think they would consider, they value your input and your recommendations. It doesn't mean that they're gonna go with it, but they value what your recommendations are, because you handle that all the time.
so just so you guys know, in the few years that I've been doing it,
It's been more than a few years, isn't it?
I've had council change 2 awards.
Okay.
Ever. Maybe 3, but rarely do they change our recommendation.
Okay.
One time they gave more, and one time they gave less, and one time they actually gave money that we suggested not. So those are 3 times that I can recall. It's just so that they do value what our input is.
They've been twice. The last one, they changed it.
Didn't they change a rotary one? I thought I saw that a rotary put in for X, but they got X plus something more, or did I misread that?
They put it last,
Oh,
so
no.
we
Got
did.
it, yes.
We did. The last time they asked for 15 and we awarded 24.
Yes, okay.
And then in the last town council meeting, we gave the whole $48,000 for HPC, and they only gave 20. And we awarded 20. Okay,
Are we there yet?
I think we're there. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'd like to stay a little longer. I think we can get it out of here by 8:30. Well, I so motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?